Good morning, this is Eric from the African Homestead. It's about 6:30 a.m. and it's not raining. It rained all night. It rained when I got up for devotions at 5:30. But as we were praying this morning, one of the prayers was that it would stop raining. It stopped. And so yeah, I can see some clouds in the south. It's still overcast, but I can almost see blue sky above. But yeah, we'll probably get a little bit of rain today, but if we can start before it starts raining, then we're going to work all day. So thanks for joining me. All right, well, we got a late start. It's almost 10 o'clock. We didn't start till about 9:30, but I think we're really going to knock it out today. We have 21 guys here, 21 men who have already started working. It's funny because, you know, we're in this bush and you can, every once in a while you'll see like some brush move. But yeah, there's 21 guys in here who are all working away. So I think this whole area that you see right now, all of this is going to be gone in a few hours. You have all this cleared and I'll be able to get a great view of the land and how it slopes and how it's laid out, and be able to decide where the house is going to go, where the cottage is going to go, where the garage is going to go, water tower, all that kind of stuff. And so it's going to be a good day. Now the only downside of having 21 men here is a few of them didn't have their own machete. And so the 5 machetes that I brought, one of which is supposed to be in this hand, all 5 are being used. And so I guess I'm going to be supervising today. I came here prepared to work, and looks like it's just going to be management today. A couple of things. First, I had to run back to the church because we realized we weren't cooking enough rice for all the men who were working, so I had to add about 5 cups of rice and some oil to the soup. And while I was there, I found my pastor's machete. And so I have a machete in my hand. I've got my gloves. I'm going to be able to work alongside with the guys. And the second thing, look, check this out behind me. You know, in the last, I think it was the last time, the last scene, all of this was bush. This is like 30 minutes later. They've cut all this behind me and they've just taken another line, as they say, a line back in the bush, and they're working this way again. These guys are just kicking butt this morning. So as I'm cutting through this bush behind me, it occurs to me, I'm thinking about the fact that in Liberia, we have green mambas, we have black mambas, we have black cobras, we have tree cobras, we have several different kinds of vipers, all poisonous, all deadly. And I just tell myself, they're more scared of me than I am of them. No, they're just as scared of me as I am of them. That's what I'm holding on to right now. That as I cut and make noise and shake the trees and shake the bush around, that they're long gone before I reach the place they were sleeping. So let's hope that holds true. These guys are kicking tail, seriously. I'm standing on the back of the line here with the bush right behind me, and all of this they knocked down in, I don't know, maybe 20 minutes, 25 minutes. And they're just getting ready. There's just a thin line of bush between them and where they cleared a little bit ago. And then what they're going to do is then cut into this a little bit further and then push this way. So they'll go maybe 20 or 25 feet into this, cut a line from kind of south to north, and then push this way. I think that will get us close. I'm just trying to find the highest point on the land, and where this right here is the highest point. I just don't know if it's going to be big enough to build a house. That's what we're trying to get this opened up to clear. And you know, this is where you want to put the water tower. So the further you get away from it, the higher the pressure. Well, the chief came to visit, and we decided to walk further back into the bush. And so the line that I showed you in the last scene, that's probably 60 to 80 feet behind me. And so we're going to try to clear all the way to here. And so it's going to take us all the way to 4 o'clock. But as we got here, we actually discovered, so there's a cassava patch. You can see this. Again, it's not marijuana. This is cassava. And it's kind of not tended really well. It's got a lot of weeds in it. But in this, and this is normal for the farm, is they'll build what they call an outdoor kitchen. And so this kitchen is where during the week they just sleep on the farm. And so they'll have a reed mat or something inside there to lay on. They usually will do their cooking there, eat a little bit of rice. It's a pretty basic diet when they're out here. And here in front, you can see they burned coal here before. So this is all covered in the remnants of making biochar. And so it's also good at keeping pests away. So a lot of times in these old spots, they'll plant different things. So here we have the Liberian hot pepper. You can see some of those right there. And you probably recognize that. That is eggplant. Looks like it's finishing up. And then over there we have some pineapple, and then just completely surrounding me is cassava. And so this is where we're going to stop. And they're just cutting a line. Can't really see it, but there's a line right through here that we've cut, and that's the border. And then over here, my pastor and the chief are cutting another line. And so we're going to basically kind of follow the trees. We'll reach that tree and just continue on. Can't really see those trees over there. And so this is the southern hillside that I've talked about before. And so this whole area here is very flat. This is actually the highest elevation on the hill. And so definitely going to take top consideration. And then all the way over here, it's flat. Behind that palm tree, it starts to slope down. And over at those trees, it starts to slope down. But all of this is good level ground. Well, we're just taking a break for lunch, and here we've got, even though there's a hand pump, you're okay. We have a Sawyer water filter. There's an organization we partner with, a couple different ones. One drills wells, and the other one provides water filters. So this is a Sawyer water filter. And it works really well in areas that even with a drilled well, sometimes the water's not too clean or may taste bad. And this filter takes care of that. And then other communities that are too small for a drilled well or are too remote that you can't get any way in to do the drilling, you can provide this kind of a filter. So in this case, the locals can drink the water from the well, but if I try to drink it, I'll have trouble. Everybody gets to enjoy a big bowl of rice, and we're serious about the rice here. So one bowl for one person, and in the States, that one bowl is enough for like a whole family. But we're having beans, which are like pinto beans with pepper and onion and stuff in it. And it's a good, for working, it's a really good heavy food. So even at the end of the workday, you still won't be hungry. Stuff just is like cement in your stomach and just provides energy for the whole day. These are all the guys that are working here, doing a great job. One of the big differences between the developed and the developing world is in the area of protein. And so specifically meat in the food. And so where we're used to having a big steak and a little bit of starch on the side, a potato or some rice or something like that, here you have a lot of starch because it's relatively inexpensive, or you could grow it yourself, or the starch in the form of the root from the cassava, the tuber from the cassava, can be made into a few different kind of food products. But here, rice is your main starch, and then you have a little bit of soup and a tiny amount of protein. So in this case, today we're having beans, and you can see we have a smoked chicken foot on there, and that's the protein. And the beans are some protein. But as far as meat goes, it's the chicken foot. Sometimes instead of a little piece of chicken, you'll have some dried fish But that's it today. You can see a lot of rice, a little soup, and a tiny amount of meat. Well, I'm sitting here standing on a couple of tree trunks. I don't know if you can see that. Trying to get a little bit of an elevated view. We're not clearing all the land because there's some plants in here called country beans. Kind of like little beans, almost like lentils. I don't know exactly what they are, but they're really good in soup. And then we have the cassava here that we're leaving. And so it's not as much of a clear view as what we have behind me. But I wanted to get up here and get a little bit of a lay of the land. I'm really happy. I'll give you another shot later of how things look now. I'm really happy we continue pushing this back because I discovered this is a higher elevation here. And I think this is where we're going to be building the houses and the garage and stuff. And so let me see if I can turn it around. It's going to have basically a view on at least two sides of the valley. Let me turn the camera on. It's a little rainy here, but whoa, try not to fall. Let me put my hand back on the stick. Okay, so give you an idea of where we're laying out. So there's where we started clearing, and that ground is probably 8 to 10 feet lower than the elevation where we cleared today. And so that originally was where I was planning to build the house. But as we got up here, we found it's higher, but you can see we're kind of overlooking. Basically, we tried to clear the ground to the edge of the hill. And so once the hill starts dropping off, we stopped because we're not going to be building there, but we're going to end up clearing that later and we'll have a clear view. And so you can see some mountains in the distance, and all the way around there's valley. So we're on this hilltop, and so on like almost 2.5 sides of the property where we're going to be building, we have valleys going down, and so it's nice, gentle sloping. But really happy. I'm going to get down off this before I fall and then give you another shot of how the land is laying. So all we have left to do today, we can kind of see the line of trees, these taller trees. We're just clearing the ground down to those. We're going to leave them stand for now, but just this kind of thin strip of land, and that's where we're going to stop for today. I don't know how well this will show up in a video. It's kind of sometimes hard to get the three-dimensional view. But I'm standing kind of in the middle of the area of where we cleared, and you can hopefully see that the hill goes up in that area. And then behind that, where you can see the palm trees, is where it drops off. And the same thing where you see this line of trees here is where the hillside starts going down. And so this is the highest point of the property. And it's nice because it's nothing is flat. There are no bowls in it that will collect water and turn into mud holes. Everything is just kind of sloping down towards the valley. And so this, I think, is going to be the place where we end up building. And you can just get an idea. You can see how the land slopes down a lot more on this side, where I was originally thinking we were going to build, right where these men are standing. So that's good. Well, we just knocked off for the day. It's about 4 o'clock, and I tell you what, the guys are amazing. I would estimate, I'm looking at the land here, I think we more than tripled. I mean, in one day. It's like 3 days work with a few guys, and we cut 1/3 of it. The other 2/3 we did today with this large group. I'm amazed at the work they did. So basically, I'll turn this around. So we have this, where just on the other side of this bush is the hillside going down all the way around here. And then you can see, I'll try to zoom in here, where those guys are walking is about where we started this morning. It's just a little bit past that. And then where the car is where we started last week. And so it's pretty amazing to see all that was done. So it's been a great day. Worked hard. I didn't so much. I didn't have a machete most of the time, but everybody else worked hard. And gonna head back to the house, get everybody paid, make plans for tomorrow, looks like this area behind me. I pretty much have the land. I walked around the whole perimeter and pretty much decided where the house, the big house is going to go, where the 2-bedroom cottage is going to go that we're going to live in first, and where the water tower is going to sit, and then also the garage, which is going to be right behind me. So we have to clear a driveway. There's kind of a ridge that runs right up here and slopes a little bit down either side. So I think that's where we're going to cut the road. So we'll need to de-stump a driveway all the way up here. And then over in this area is where the little cottage is going to be. And move here along the edge of the slope here is where the house is going to go. The water tower will go somewhere behind this this little tree here. And then over here is where the shipping container. So I need to cut a road all the way in here and probably going to make kind of a circle drive where I'm currently standing in the middle of that. And so we're going to need to de-stump that so that the semi-truck can get in with our 40-foot shipping container. So that's a lot of stumps to take out. If I want to, yeah, so I may bring my chainsaw to do that because we're not going to have the backhoe here until it comes with the container. So that's the plan. I'm going to go ahead and sign off for today. See you next time.